Arguably the most ineffective ammunition in the world.
No one could know that he would return to compete in the longest and arguably greatest game in tennis history.
It's arguably illegal and ineffective.
Welcome to Talkword. This is the show where we get curious and explore the fascinating stories behind the words we use every single day. You know, some words are way more than just their dictionary definitions. They're actually powerful tools. And today, we're going to break down one you've definitely heard, but maybe aren't using to its full potential. So, have you ever heard someone use the word arguably and just kind of paused for a second, wondering, wait, what does that really mean? If you have, you are not alone. Seriously, this is a word that can trip up even native speakers. But don't you worry, by the end of this, it's going to be totally crystal clear. All right, so let's get right to it. What is at the very heart of this word? To really nail this down, we've got to start with the fundamentals before we can jump into all the clever ways it's used in conversations.
Okay, so if you look at the official definition, you'll see it has two key parts. First, the statement is very likely to be true. And that right there, that signals a ton of confidence. But then there's the second part. It also acknowledges that other people might disagree. This puts the word in this really interesting sweet spot, you know? Somewhere between a hard fact and just a simple opinion. So let's put that in even simpler terms. When you use arguably, you're basically signaling to everyone that you've got a really solid argument to back up what you're saying. You're not just guessing, you're ready to defend your position. And that little piece right there, well, that leads us to the word's real power. That subtle hint of a debate. See, using arguably isn't just about stating what you think. It's about confidently stepping into a discussion that you believe you can win. Just think about the huge difference in confidence here. If you say a player is possibly the best, it sounds like you're not so sure. There's a lot of uncertainty. But saying she's arguably the best, whoa, that is a power move. It tells everyone that you've already considered the other options and you are still making a very strong, very defensible case. I absolutely love this way of thinking about it because it just captures the feeling of the word perfectly. It's confident, right? But it's not arrogant. It kind of invites a discussion, but at the same time, it strongly states where you stand. It's really the perfect blend of being assertive and, being intellectually honest.
All right, that's enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and put this thing into practice with some real-world examples. This is where it'll really start to click. Okay, take that first one. Is Michael Jordan, as a matter of pure fact, the greatest ever? Well, I'm pretty sure fans of LeBron James or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would have something to say about that. And that's what makes it the absolute perfect time to use arguably. You're stating a very strong, well-supported opinion. Same thing goes for the pizza. It's not a scientific fact, but it is a strong, defensible claim based on, the taste, the ingredients, and its reputation.
And here, you can really see how versatile it is. Could another painting actually be more famous? Maybe Van Gogh's Starry Night. It's totally debatable, right? So arguably works perfectly. And what about the most important invention? Some people might vote for the car, or maybe even penicillin, but you could make an incredibly strong case for the internet. The word arguably signals that you know there's a debate, but you're still planting your flag on a powerful claim.
Okay, so now that you're feeling a little more confident, let's look at the other side of the coin, the common mistakes people tend to make. Because knowing what not to do is just as important for really mastering a word like this.
So here it is, the number one trap you've got to watch out for. Remember that arguably is a heavyweight word. You don't want to use it for lightweight ideas when what you really mean is just maybe or perhaps. So let's break these down real quick. First, like we just saw, it's way stronger than probably or possibly. Second, and this is a big one, don't use it for things that are just undeniable facts. Saying, the sun is arguably hot, just sounds weird. It's bizarre because its heat isn't really up for debate. So the key thing to remember is this. Save arguably for those strong, supportable claims that still have some room for an intellectual disagreement.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We're going to wrap this all up into your key takeaway. A super simple checklist you can use to get arguably right every single time. It really is this easy. First, start with a strong claim or an opinion that you really believe in. Then, second, just ask yourself, could a reasonable person disagree with me here? If the answer is yes, then you are in the perfect zone. And finally, step 3, use the word arguably to signal that you are making a confident, well-reasoned point. It's like your secret weapon for sounding both intelligent and open-minded at the same time. So there you have it. Arguably isn't just another adverb. It's a strategic tool. It lets you make a powerful point while also showing that you respect other perspectives. If you loved this deep dive and you want to master even more words, you should definitely check out the TalkWord app. You can get clear, podcast-style explanations for any English word you can think of. Thanks for watching.